It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Chicka chicka boom boom. It's the Leo Be the Lion show. Boom boom. Gonna tell you what you need to know. Boom boom. Now here comes your boy Leo. Hey everybody, it's your boy Leo Be the Lion coming to you live with another episode of the Leo Be the Lion show live from Respectable Street via subcultureradio.com. That's www.subcultureradio.com from Mondays from 6 to 7 live. And if you can't catch me live, check me out on YouTube at my channel at Leo Be the Lion show. Search for me and I'm on there with my shows. I post all my shows with timestamps, and I post clips about reviews. I may do video reviews. I may clean my car and show you what it looks like after I clean it. It's like 57 flavors. Don't get me Heinz for that. So, Leo Be the Lion show. I'm here with you live after a couple weeks. But let's get into what I did over the weekend before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Of what I did over the weekend. It was a fun weekend, trying to squeeze out every last little bit of time before the kids go back to school. So my son was starting school this week. A lot of the kids are starting school this week, so expect the traffic to be there if you're going to school. I mean, if you're going to work in the morning, expect additional traffic and make time for that because we all know it's annoying once the school starts. People start not being able to drive or start messing around with the buses, or buses are late and they're slow and they have to like switch 3 lanes at a time. So just to avoid the headache, pack a little extra time in there. And then also we went in the pool and just basically just enjoyed the last little bit of the summer vacation that we had. And then on Sunday, I woke up and I watched the Women's World Cup match at 5 a.m. The U.S. was playing, and it was a 0-0 tie against Sweden for the first 90 minutes plus stoppage time. Then in extra time, the Swedes looked kind of gassed, and the U.S. looked like they were poised to score. But for the Swedish goalkeeper, she was on her game and made a couple clutch saves. One off a header that it looked like for sure the U.S. would go up 1-0, but no, the Swedish goalkeeper stopped it. And then in penalties, the Swedes were down 4-3 in penalties, and they tied it up. And the U.S. had 3 separate chances to win the round and advance to the quarterfinals in the Women's World Cup. They had 3 separate chances. Megan Rapinoe had a chance to send the team to the round of 8, to the quarterfinals. Then a young player, Sophia Smith, I believe, missed her penalty shot. And then on the third attempt, O'Hara, she was a long time. This was her 4th World Cup match. She missed the final penalty kick, and Sweden was able to make their kick by a millimeter, literally maybe less than a millimeter. They had to review it on the VAR, the video review, and the whole ball has to be over the line. No part of the ball can be touching the line on the for it to be a goal. And literally, the ball had traveled only a millimeter over the line, where you could see a millimeter of space between the ball and the line. So they called it a goal for Sweden, and Sweden won on penalty kicks, and the U.S. was knocked out. It's their earliest knockout ever that they've had at a World Cup. They were going for 3 straight World Cups, and it's frustrating, but it's what can you do? No other team, men or women, had ever won 3 straight World Cups, and that continued now where somebody new will win the Women's World Cup. Now, after talking about the World Cup, I want to switch it back to one of my videos, harken back to one of my videos that I made the other day about my disappointment with Nintendo 64 that I bought recently. I made a review about DKOldies.com, and it didn't work. The Nintendo 64 didn't work, so I was really disappointed. They wanted me to clean it, but they said, "Oh, we refurbish all our consoles." So I said, "Oh, if you refurbish all your consoles, then why do you want me to clean it?" So I was frustrated. So I asked my girl. I brought it to her house. I asked my girl. I said, "Do you have any isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip so I can clean the cartridge slot and do that?" So I cleaned the cartridge slot. I found a TV where I didn't have to do a HD to AV to HDMI conversion. And what do you know? After I cleaned the cartridges, cleaned the cartridge slot, the Nintendo 64 worked. I was playing Mario Kart 64. It was awesome. I was showing my son how to play it, and I was kicking ass on Mario Kart 64, and I felt like old times again. And I was beating Luigi. I was with Luigi, whoever they were like. I was like, just pick somebody for me, and I was still kicking butt. So it was a fun time on Nintendo 64. And I also showed my son over the weekend Little Giants, the movie. It's a funny movie from the 90s. And just something, I know a lot of people probably have this feeling, but it's just such a trip. It's such a funny feeling to feel when you're a little kid and you see a movie and you say to yourself, "Oh man, that guy looks so old for his age." And then when you go 30 years later and then you watch the same movie and you're like, "Wow, that person was really young for their age back then." But 30 years has passed, and so time catches up to us all, and it's just funny to see Rick Moranis and Ed O'Neill and even players or people like John Madden, who's in Little Giants, God rest his soul. So it's interesting to see how the young players look. Like Bruce Smith was also in there, and Emmitt Smith, and it's really interesting to me. And I thought I'd make that observation known. And I bet a lot of people feel that way, where they say, "Oh man, growing up, I thought this person was kind of old," but really, 35, 40, 45, that's not that old when you get down to it. When you get down to the crux of everything. So now, after talking about squeezing in the last weekend before the kids are back to school, playing a little Nintendo 64, harking back to the retro gaming days and Little Giants, we're going to talk about a little NFL football, a little NFL preview, a prediction here on the Leo B. the Lion Show. That's right, the Leo B. the Lion Show live via subcultureradio.com every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. at Respectable Street, recording live. And if you can't catch me live, go to youtube.com and search for Leo B. the Lion Show. I'll be the first thing that pops up, the first profile that pops up. You'll see my beautiful face with my aviator sunglasses, sunshades on at the beach, and I'll be looking fly. And give me a subscribe, like, share. Or if you don't agree with my opinions, come through and disagree with me in the comments, and I'll answer you. I want to shout out all the people that commented on the Nintendo 64 video review I made, because they had some suggestions, and those suggestions also helped me out. So thank you to those that did comment on my Nintendo 64 review from DKOldies.com. Now, I figured before getting into the NFL predictions, the main rest of the show is going to be about the Miami Dolphins, their position previews, and the Miami Dolphins prediction for the year. Also, it's going to be about the NFL predictions, so stay tuned for the AFC playoff teams, NFC playoff teams, and yes, I'll be picking all the way down to the Super Bowl and a Super Bowl winner with an MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year for the leagues. So now, let's get into the Miami Dolphins grades, position grades. I'm going to give it's like a position grade, position preview. Last year, Dolphins were 10-7, just made it into the playoffs, and almost beat the Bills 34, lost to the Bills 34-31. Dolphins are pretty much poised, a very similar roster. They added Jalen Ramsey, however, he's hurt. The Dolphins also have a couple good players that they drafted in Cam Smith to play corner, and let's see what the Dolphins can do. So let's start out. The Dolphins go with 3 wide receiver and 1 tight end as their base formation with a single back. It can be most likely in shotgun formation. They don't really play under center like that unless it's a play fake, or they a lot of times can do play fakes by RPO options that Mike McDaniel draws up. When you're thinking about the Dolphins quarterback situation, the main theme that I want you to think about the Dolphins, and first of all, I'm going to give the Dolphins overall grade of their quarterbacks. I'm going to give them a B+. And keep in mind, I'm a huge Dolphins fan, so The fact that I don't give A plus is something good. Like, damn, that shows that I can be a little bit honest. Because I would give A plus to everything, but no, I can't do that. The reason why I say this is because they go three deep at quarterback. I would say you can. Tua is the clear starter. Let's just say that Tua is the far and away clear starter for the Miami Dolphins going forward. In fact, I hope that they extend him if he has a great year this year. He's up for an extension if having a good year this year, barring any injury. And that's what I want to talk about. Tua can be an MVP candidate. Tua can lead the Miami Dolphins to a Super Bowl appearance, let alone a Super Bowl win, if he does not get injured. If he does not get concussions. Yeah, he might twist his ankle, what have you. Okay, he might get a little nagging, like little, bumps and bruises. But as long as he doesn't get a bruise on his brain, which is a concussion, as long as he doesn't do that, the Dolphins can kick some butt in the AFC East and compete for the AFC title, the conference title, and to go to the Super Bowl. Now, backing Tua up is Mike White and Skylar Thompson. And the reason why I say them both in the same breath is that Skylar Thompson was the backup, had to play against the Buffalo Bills in the playoff game, in the wild card playoff game. But the trick was that he was young, rookie, like young player. So now he's got that experience, and he wants to try to back up Tua. Well, Mike White comes to town from the New York Football Jets. Mike White is one of those players when the Jets were having quarterback troubles. The few games that the Jets did win last year, Mike White won the majority of those games, and he was able to come in and be a more than serviceable backup and compete for the starting job last year for the Jets before they got Aaron Rodgers. And that's not saying much. The Jets didn't really have a good quarterback room last year anyway, with Joe Flacco and Mike White and Zach Wilson. So when you think about it, Mike White coming down here, it's a good sign for the Dolphins. They're saying, just in case, we want a little security blanket between Mike White and Skylar Thompson. We want them to push each other in practice so that if Tua does get injured, God forbid he gets hurt, and if he does, just don't let it be his head, because as long as he doesn't get concussions and stuff, we're good. Like, the Dolphins are really good. So I like the Dolphins' chances with Tua under center, and even if he does get hurt, Mike White and Skylar Thompson or Skylar Thompson should be able to take over. So I give them a B+ for the Dolphins for their quarterback room. Next is their running backs. Give me, if you had two words to describe the running back room for the Dolphins, I would say it's a full house. It's a full committee. It's like they have Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., Devon Achane, and Myles Gaskin. And if you think on the practice squad, they have like another 5th or 6th running back. So they have a full house at running back. I'm gonna give it a B, just because Jeff Wilson Jr. and Mostert do be getting injured sometimes. So I can't really give them more than a B, and I want to give them a higher grade, but because they have the speed, they have Achane, Mostert are two of the fastest running backs on Madden 24, and Wilson Jr. is pretty fast as well. So I give the Dolphins running backs a B. Let's see how they can do if the Dolphins can be more committed to establishing the run this year with their two-headed back and get the rookie Achane going from Texas A&M. They have 3 speedsters. It'll be hard to stop them if the offensive line can create some holes for the Dolphins running backs this year. Now let's get into the wide receivers list. The wide receivers, I think, is their best unit on offense. So give me an A+ on their wide receivers for the Dolphins this year. In the preseason, most definitely. So at first they have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and then their third wide receiver on the depth chart is Cedric Wilson Jr. You can't ask for – the first 2 receivers are bona fide all-pro wide receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They set the record last year for a combined yards as a duo. Jalen Waddle broke the rookie record for or had the rookie record 2 years ago for the Dolphins and for the NFL for receptions. And Tyreek Hill, we know, is a perennial All-Pro, maybe fastest man in the NFL, if not the fastest man in the NFL. And then they have Chosen Anderson, which is Robbie Anderson, who's a speedster, a burner. Then they have kick returner extraordinaire with hands of gold, soft hands, Braxton Berrios from the U. Soft hands. And then they have River Craycraft backing it up and Braylon Sanders. So their wide receiver room is stout, and that's their best unit on offense. The Dolphins, I give it A+ to their wide receivers for their position grades. Then we have at tight end, got rid of Gesicki because he was expecting a large contract, and I don't blame him. He's put up not necessarily the stats, but he has the measurables to show that he can be a game changer on offense. So I'm a little disappointed that Gesicki's out of there, and I believe he went to the Patriots. Correct me if I'm wrong on YouTube, at Leo Be the Lion Show, but I do believe Mike Gesicki went to the Patriots. But we have Durham Smythe, Tyler Kroft, and Eric Saubert. So it just showed last year that the Dolphins weren't necessarily a huge passing game where their passing game goes through the tight end. Most of the Dolphins receiving, the bulk of their receiving has come through the wide receivers and their running backs. So the tight end is almost more relied on to be that extra blocker, and then leak out if, in fact, he can leak out to the other side and be open as a last resort. So tight ends, I give it about a C, maybe a C- just because they're not that good. Durham Smythe is okay. He can block, so I'll give him a C-. Then we got fullback Eric Ingold. In the NFL, there's about maybe a handful of fullbacks in existence right now. A lot of teams have really changed where they don't really run the I formation as much, and they may just use another running back to block it, and they wouldn't call the guy a fullback necessarily. In Madden, when there used to be where you could where you couldn't go under like a player position minimum, where you always had to have a backup. Well, now on Madden you can just have one fullback, and they're like, okay, you're good. So Alec Ingold, I give them a B for Alec Ingold. He's pretty good. He can block, but also he can catch out of the backfield as well. Then for the offensive line, and I'm going from left to right, left tackle Teron Armstead, left guard Liam Eichenberg. Then we got center Connor Williams, Robert Hunt at right guard, and at right tackle Austin Jackson defending Tua's blind side. So this list gives me pause. When Teron Armstead was in the game, the offensive line was, I would dare to say, B+ to A when Teron Armstead was in the game. But he missed a few games last year, and he was always injured with his turf toe, or whether it was a hamstring, or whether it was something, a body injury, so a lower body injury. So we want to see Teron Armstead play a full slate of games, at least give me 14 games out there, and see if this offensive line can protect Tua a little bit better, if they've gelled a little bit more with one more year to do it, because Williams was a good player and Armstead was an all-pro, so all-pro worthy candidate. So I'd say for the O-line, give me about, I'll just do a regular B, because with the potential to be A+, potential to be higher than that, but also what's the opposite of potential? The risk of being like C+ or C- or D on the offensive line. So come on, Dolphins, let's do it. So for the offense, you really would say, their average is about like a B overall. And then when we're going on defense, let's talk about the defensive side. I'd say their best unit on the defensive side is their secondary, the Dolphins secondary, because of returning All-Pro and Xavier Howard. They also have Jalen Ramsey, and Dolphins recently signed Eli Apple. So let's go through. On the corners, the Dolphins run primarily a 3-4 lineup, and then on the left side, now that Jalen Ramsey will be out for the first few weeks of the NFL season with a torn meniscus, and he had surgery to repair it, so thankfully he had surgery so soon. He wants to be back, He knows the Dolphins are a Super Bowl caliber team. Let's go Dolphins. So got Xavier Howard on the left corner. Then on the other side we have Eli Apple, who used to be kind of trashy. The Giants got rid of Eli Apple thinking, okay, we're releasing him. He's on the scrap heap. Nobody wanted him. And then he went to the Bengals. Well, he showed up when he had to play against Tyreek Hill. And Eli Apple now looks kind of like a good pickup for the Dolphins to have when now that Jalen Ramsey is on the injured list. So they have Eli Apple. Then they have a rookie backing him up in Cam Smith. Cam Smith is going to be a good rookie, mark my words. He's going to be a good pickup by Chris Greer. And then they have returning sophomore player in Kader Kohu, who was on the all-rookie team. Then also going across the line, we have at D tackle, at the nose guard is Raekwon Davis. And starting on left D end is Christian Wilkins, who the Dolphins need to figure out the contract situation. Christian Wilkins is in a contract year, in his last year of his deal. The Dolphins need to figure out if they're going to extend that deal or sign him a new deal. But they have to keep Christian Wilkins. I really think he's a centerpiece to this defense. Then you have Emmanuel Ogbah. And then also, which I thought was interesting, is that on the right D end, they have Wilkins basically, and then a nobody, and then Raekwon Davis is a nobody. But on the right D end, they have Emmanuel Ogbah, then they have Zach Seiler, and Deshaun Hand, who they just signed also from the Detroit Lions. So it's going to look like interesting that they'll have a revolving door on the defensive line for those three main positions on the 3-4 defense to be able to keep those guys fresh. And we've seen past teams like the Giants, like the Rams, when they have a deep D line, they're able to rotate guys in and out and keep them fresh and keep them rushing the quarterback, especially now how often teams pass the ball nowadays. And then let's look at the linebackers. This is going to be this is going to be the make or break side, because if we're going from the left to right, we got Jalen Phillips, backing up Jalen Phillips, who primarily rushed the quarterback, who will be like a D-end, like a Jason Taylor type thing, who potentially Jalen Phillips could be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, all-pro defensive end / rush linebacker. Then backing him up, we have Andrew Van Ginkel and Cameron Good, who is also a young player who we just drafted recently. And then on the other side, or then next to him in linebacker, one of the inside middle linebackers is David Long Jr., who we got from the Tennessee Titans, who's going to be a good pickup. We also need Channing Tyndale, who we drafted a couple years ago to develop, play a little bit better, who will be backing up David Long Jr. Then in the other linebacker position, we have Jerome Baker, and backing him up is Duke Riley. Jerome Baker, we need you to also come on. You can cover a little bit, and you can tackle, but we just need you to step up and develop a little bit more as well. Then give me Emmanuel Ogbah. Then on the other linebacker position, a great pickup last year, Bradley Chubb, and then Malik Reed is backing him up. With Phillips and Chubb on the outside, it's going to be tough for offensive to be able to hold the ball a lot with their quarterbacks. So I'm going to say, and I forgot about Javon Holland as free safety, and then Deshaun Elliott, who the Dolphins recently picked up in this free agent season from the Lions as well. But give me Brandon Jones when he gets back from his ACL tear. I'll take Brandon Jones over Deshaun Elliott because he's a homegrown talent. Let's go Brandon Jones. So for the secondary, Dolphins secondary, I'm going to give them an A. And then for the linebackers, I'll give them a B. And then the D-line, I'll give an A. And then so I'll say B+. The Dolphins are about a B+ in talent on their defense. Offense is about a B. So B+. That's a strong B in my book for the Dolphins this year. Their special teams are going to be really good. A. So let's just move their team overall to a B+. A B. A B. But anyway, this is the Leo B. the Lion Show, coming to you live from Respectable Street here on Clematis in beautiful downtown West Palm Beach, Florida. it's been crazy weather lately. It's been either sunny, like where it's like 500 degrees and it feels like the surface of the sun, or it rains and then it feels like the surface of Venus because it feels like still hot and it's raining. And then you're like, for like 3 seconds, you feel a little breeze after it rained and you're like, oh, it's kind of cool because it's like 85 now. And then it gets humid. And then it goes up to about like 91 and it's just humid. And it's like literally, I wear glasses, so if I go outside, it's like condensation just forms on my glasses down there. So it's been a fun little time, good little summertime in Florida. Summertime coming to an end, talking about the kids going back to school. And that's starting this week in Palm Beach County. Next couple weeks, probably Broward is probably starting this week as well. I'm not sure about Miami-Dade, but just watch out for more traffic. There's going to be tons of more traffic. There's going to be people driving slower because they have kids in the car. And even though when I see like baby on board or baby up in this bitch or like a baby Yoda or like 4 skeletons or like a daddy AK-47 with like a little mini AK-47s, I'm like, I don't really care that y'all have kids in the car. That doesn't give you an excuse to drive slowly. But I understand that you do want to be safe. So I kind of like, I'm like, cool, thank you for letting me know about your kids and your lifestyle. But it's all good. It's all good. Don't worry. We're all going to get there in one piece. Schools start in Palm Beach County on Thursday is the first day of school for Palm Beach County. The fact that they're going back to school on a Thursday and Friday and then have the weekend is kind of interesting, to be real. I wish we could have just started on Monday, but that's just how it goes. So now getting into the next part of the Leo Be the Lion show. Follow me on YouTube at Leo Be the Lion show. We're going to go through my NFL predictions. Yes, the Leo Be the Lion show NFL predictions for the 2023-2024 season. We will be getting into all the way down to the Super Bowl. And my picks were not really that good last year. And this year, I've been paying attention, but I've just been trying to I haven't really heard much about through training camps yet. Preseason is just getting underway. We most recently had the Hall of Fame game. And what I think is tragic is that the Hall of Fame, they're trying to look like really put on a good promotion, put on a good game, put on good marketing whenever they have the NFL Hall of Fame. And for all those players who are in the NFL Hall of Fame, and they're great players, and they've made a lot of money in their career, and I don't know the foundation that supports the NFL Hall of Fame, for the NFL to kind of make it so that the stadium has all these issues. The stadium is like basically on its last legs in Canton, where they have the Hall of Fame game every year. Most of the time, the Hall of Fame game is between two teams where two of the players are getting into the Hall of Fame. And so they went with the Jets and the Cleveland Browns this year, and the Cleveland Browns, thankfully, were able to beat the Jets. Yeah, I don't even want the Jets to win any preseason games, so that's just how it goes. But I really think it should have been Dolphins playing one in the Hall of Fame game, because just Zach Thomas was going into the Hall of Fame. And two, just because, you know, who wouldn't want to see that? That'd be cool to get an extra chance to see the Dolphins. But I digress. The NFL needs to support the Hall of Fame a little bit more so that the stadium can have some upgrades done to it. The lights, all the stadium lights should be working throughout the whole game. Like, it shouldn't have trouble with electrical. If they're trying to put on the first game of the season, the first preseason game, yeah, it doesn't count. But you're promoting your Hall of Fame. You're promoting your best part of your league, which is the best players who ever lived. You would want that stadium to look kind of like up to par, up to 2023, or at least look up to like 1985. Like, it should not be having where they're having structural issues or electrical issues or it's not air conditioning because outside, but you know what I'm saying? So we need to get the Hall of Fame game stadium in Canton a little bit better amenities and a little bit better upgrades, because it's past due for upgrades. So, like I said, the Hall of Fame game, the next games are getting started this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There'll be preseason games. And on Friday, the Dolphins play the Falcons for their first game. Second, they play the Texans. Then I believe the Tampa Bay Bucks and then the Jets, I think, or the Panthers, I believe. And so let's get into it right away. We're going to get into the playoff teams that I think are going to be in the AFC. So at the 1 seed, I think it's going to be the team that everybody, probably is the favorite to get back to the Super Bowl, let alone win the Super Bowl, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. I have the Kansas City Chiefs going at least 14-3. And I say that because Mahomes is just cruising. He's cruising along. He's only getting better every year. For the last 5 years, let me put it to you this way. The time that Patrick Mahomes has been a starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs is 5 years. The last 5 years, the Kansas City Chiefs have been in the AFC Championship game. The Super Bowl has either been in or gone through Kansas City in the last 5 years if you're in the AFC. So for the Chiefs to get to 3 out of those 5 Super Bowls and then win 2 out of those 3 Super Bowls, that says a huge amount of the longevity, the continuity that the Chiefs had, and also the fact that they have a guy named Patrick Mahomes Jr. who is one of, if not the best quarterback in the NFL right now, save for maybe Aaron Rodgers. So if you say Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, those are the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL. The Chiefs are poised to try to make it back to the Super Bowl this year again and repeat even. So give me the Chiefs as the 1 seed. Then with the 2 seed, I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, I believe, I predicted them to go 12-5 last year before the injury problems with Tua. Now, if the Tua injury problems don't happen, I think the Dolphins can go 12-5 and get the 2 seed, be the best in their division, win the AFC East, and believe that the Buffalo Bills are going to fall off a little bit more. The Jets are going to be a better team. The Patriots are going to be irrelevant. So when you think about it, the Jets, it's going to be a battle for the division title between the Bills, Jets, and the Dolphins. But the Dolphins are, if you look at it, have only gotten better. They have their quarterback, so they have the continuity of the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, of course, is an all-world, all-pro, surefire, first-ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. But I do believe that Tua and the Dolphins are going to come to play this year and be healthy. So give me the Dolphins. I believe they'll be going 12-5 and be the 2 seed in the AFC. Then for the 3 seed in the AFC, we're going the NFC North, and it's not the Bengals, and it's not the Steelers coming surprise out of nowhere, and it's not the Browns either. Sorry, Massage Watson. It is the Baltimore Ravens at 12-5. I have the Baltimore Ravens going 12-5 with Lamar Jackson. They just signed his contract. Got Odell Beckham Jr. They have some good receivers. They have Mark Andrews still at tight end. They have a good O-line. And they have a good defense that should be healthier this year. So give me the Ravens to go 12-5 in the AFC North, and to be the 3 seed and to challenge any person who they play, any team they play in the playoffs to move on, because they might be the 3 seed or worse, but I definitely, if out of any team besides the Chiefs in the playoffs, I would not want to play the Baltimore Ravens come playoff time. Then the 4th seed, who has to come from a division. I wish they didn't have to come from a division, but the 4th seed, yes, does have to come from a division. So we're going to the lowly AFC South, which is the Texans, the Titans, the Jaguars, and the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Irsay was talking about when Jonathan Taylor, his all-pro running back, young running back, was talking about, I want a new contract. Jim Irsay, who was a guy who was born on 3rd and took over his dad's team, was saying, hey, if I'm gone and Jonathan Taylor's out of the NFL, nobody's going to care. The NFL's just going to keep on moving on. But I think that's kind of like a tone-deaf thing to say. He should have been able to say, all right, listen, we'll work with Jonathan Taylor. He's a great player. We'll work with him to see what his contract demands are. We want him on our team for years to come. Let's have a great season, blah, 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 something along those lines. So he didn't say that. He was just basically like, F him and F you too. So it was kind of tough that happened to the Colts. So give me the Titans winning the division, the AFC South at 10-7. It's going to be a rough division this year with a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud as the Texans quarterback, and then you have the Titans, of course, with their question at quarterback, but they did get Nuke Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins, and then you have the Colts bouncing back, but with Anthony Richardson, rookie quarterback, that'll be tough to compete for the division. And then you have a team like the Jaguars, who could probably be the toughest opponent for the Titans this year and take care of business and maybe replace them as the 4th seed. Then at the 5th seed, I don't want to say this. Shout out to my girl who is like, why do you talk about them so much? But I think at the 5th seed, it will be the Jets. The Jets are going to get in as the first wild card seed. I hate to say that, but it's only because they have Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers will outplay Josh Allen and be second all year, be chasing the Dolphins all year for the division lead, will the Jets. But the Dolphins will finish with the division title and be the 2 seed, where the Jets will be the 5th seed. The Jets have a decent O-line. What can I say? They're getting Breece Hall back as well. They are getting Aaron Rodgers. Did I mention they have Aaron Rodgers? And they have a good, young, fast receiving core. And their defense with Sauce Gardner, who was a rookie All-Pro corner last year, is only going to get better. So the Dolphins have to be able to say, okay, the damn Jets are back on the radar as one of those teams where they're going to be hard to beat. You got to bring your lunch pail. You got to be ready to play the Jets, because the Jets are going to get nasty when you play them. So the Jets are going to be the 5th seed. Hopefully the Dolphins can sweep them this year and take care of business. And then for the 6th seed in the AFC, we're going with a surprise team out of the NFC or out of the AFC North. And no, it's not the Browns. It is the Steelers. The Steelers are going to bounce back and get back into the playoffs. Mike Tomlin's going to continue his streak of over 500 seasons. He's never had an under 500 season before as a head coach. And now the Steelers, I believe, are going to finish 9-8 and make it to the 6th seed with T.J. Watt and their vaunted defense. And Kenny Pickett coming along as a hometown Pittsburgh guy. He went to Pittsburgh University, University of Pittsburgh. And now he's the quarterback, Kenny Two Gloves, as they call him, because he wears gloves. But he's the quarterback for the Steelers. So the Steelers, I say, are going to be the 6th seed in the AFC. And then to round out the AFC playoff predictions, the 7th and final wild card is going to come from the AFC West. And it's not going to be the Raiders. And you're saying, where's the Chargers? Well, I thought about the Chargers, but I really think this team in a league where coaching does and game prep and game management plays a huge role. Give me the Broncos at 9-8, the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson. Let's ride. At 9-8 to lock up the 7th and final wild card seed. You can count in the NFL that coming down to the final game, there's going to be about 3 or 4 teams in the hunt trying to get this final wild card seed. But I really think the Denver Broncos are going to get it. And Russell Wilson's going to be back in the playoffs, but this time in the AFC. And Sean Payton is going to be back in the playoffs as his first year coming back as a head coach instead of for the Saints. Now he's going to be for the Broncos. I really believe that the Broncos will have a good year this year and have a really good bounce-back year. I don't think Russell Wilson's done. Russell Wilson is my guy. I love all the causes he supports. He's a good dad, and I really think that Russell Wilson will bounce back and have a better year under the tutelage of Sean Payton, who has played with Jameis Winston, or who taught Coach Jameis Winston, and Drew Brees and Taysom Hill and the like, and gotten the most out of those guys. So now let's go switch over to the NFC playoff teams. And in the NFC, the 1 seed is the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is just going to get better. He said recently on a press conference that he identifies his weaknesses and he kind of looks at it like Jordan or Bird or Magic or Kobe, where they see, okay, what can I get better every offseason? What weapons can I add to my game, to my arsenal? So give me the Philadelphia Eagles being the 1 seed in the NFC. And then for the 2 seed, take the 49ers. Yeah, with the Brock Purdy or whoever at quarterback, the 49ers defense and Kyle Shanahan, they have a great game plan. This just shows you how good coaching can be when you have a quarterback like Brock Purdy, who in my opinion shouldn't be that good. He's playing above his stars, so playing above his belt. So give me the 49ers as the 2 seed in the NFC. Then the 3 seed is coming from the NFC North. I wish I could pick the Lions, but I can't. So give me the Minnesota Vikings to be the 3 seed. The Vikings were 8-0 in one-score games last year. They won't be that good, but they'll still be able to make the playoffs and win the division as the 3 seed. So give me the Minnesota Vikings as a 3 seed. The 4th seed, this will be coming from the NFC South, and this will be the surprise, I would say. From the NFC South, it's going to be the division winner Carolina Panthers. That's right. Bryce Young is going to have the Carolina Panthers and that team playing great, and they're going to mess around and win the division this year, and I believe so. So give me the Carolina Panthers to get the 4th seed. With the 5th seed, it will be another NFC South team, and that will be the New Orleans Saints. I'm excited. I'm going to a New Orleans game, their first game of the year, September 10th. I'm going to that game. I'll be in the building. That'll be fun to go see and add another NFL stadium to the list of the NFL stadiums that I've been to. I've been to the Hard Rock Stadium and all their iterations. I've been to the Washington Stadium most recently when they were the Washington football team, and we saw Tom Brady play for his last year. And then now I'll be adding the New Orleans Saints. That'll be fun to go to. So talking about now the 6th seed, it's going to be 6 and 7 are going to be 2 teams from the NFC East. Yes, it's going to be 3 teams from the NFC East are going to make it to the NFL playoffs this year. For the 6th seed, it's going to be the Cowboys. I really believe if Dak Prescott stays healthy, it's almost one of those situations where the Cowboys have a great team on paper. They just need their quarterback to stay healthy, similar to the Miami Dolphins. So if Dak Prescott stays healthy, the Cowboys will make it in the playoffs, at least as a 6th seed, and give me the Cowboys to be dangerous in the playoffs if Dak can stay healthy. Then the 7th seed, a team who nobody's really talking about this year because a lot of people think their quarterback is overpaid. They just signed their running back to a good deal or to a 1-year deal, and that is the New York Football Giants. Give me the Giants to round out the NFC playoffs and win the 7th seed, be awarded the 7th seed. So now let's take a look at the playoffs. Give me the Dolphins versus the Broncos, 2 versus 7. Dolphins win that. Then the Titans versus Jets. Give me the Jets to win that. Then the Ravens versus Steelers. Ravens to win that. Then the next round, you have the Chiefs playing the lower seed, which is the Jets. The Jets surprise everybody and beat the Chiefs because of the Jets' defense. And the Dolphins and Ravens play, and the Dolphins, who I don't think has ever beaten the Ravens in the playoffs, finally do. And we have a Dolphins-Jets AFC championship where the Dolphins go to Super Bowl. Yeah, sue me. I might be a homer, but I don't care. Then we have in the NFC, we have the 49ers versus the Giants, the 2-7 matchup. The Giants upset the Niners because the Niners won't have a quarterback by then. Then we have the Panthers versus Saints. The Saints win that matchup. And then the Vikings versus Cowboys. The Vikings win that matchup. Sorry, Cowboys are one and done. Next round, Giants play the 1-seeded Eagles. And the Giants upset the Eagles because they figure out the formula to stop Jalen Hurts. And they play well against the Eagles. So give me the Giants. And then the Vikings versus Saints. Saints find a way with Derek Carr and Dennis Allen. They're reunited to make it to the NFC Championship game. And the Saints, it ends up being the Saints versus Dolphins, and we all know that I want the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl. My MVP prediction for this year is Tyreek Hill. If Tyreek Hill doesn't win it, it'll probably be Aaron Rodgers. Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley. And Defensive Player of the Year, T.J. Watt for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, with a few minutes left, we're just get into my hashtag 5-pack of picks, giving you my recap for my hashtag 5-pack of picks from a couple weeks ago. I was 83, 57, and 3. Then I made 5 Wednesday night baseball picks. And wouldn't you know, the week after going 5-0, I didn't do so hot. So I had the Astros beating the Rockies. That's a win, so 1-0. I had the Red Sox beating the A's. That's a loss. They lost 6-5 to the lowly Athletics, 1-1. Then I had the Guardians beating the Pirates. They lost, so I'm 1-2 on my hashtag 5-pack of picks. Then the Braves versus the D-backs. I had the Braves winning, and they lost, so I'm 1-3 in my hashtag 5-pack of picks. And then the Marlins beating the Cardinals in Miami in Lone Depot Park. And wouldn't you know, the Marlins are terrible since the All-Star break, 5-15, and I lost that. So I went 1-4. A week after going 5-0, I went 1-4. See, them's the breaks. So now my record for my hashtag 5-pack of picks is 84, 61, and 3. Still pretty good. Still 23 games over 500. And now let me make 5 picks for the upcoming week. And the first one is tonight, technically tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. I hate to do this. I won't be able to watch it, but 4 a.m., Colombia in the Women's World Cup. Colombia's in the round of 16 against Jamaica. Jamaica's an upstart team. Colombia's an upstart team. This is the farthest that they both have gotten. And so I got to take Colombia. That's my home squad. So give me Colombia versus Jamaica. Colombia advances to the quarterfinals in the Women's World Cup. Sorry, Jamaica. I have a lot of friends who are rooting for Jamaica to win, but I really hope Colombia wins. I wish they didn't play to the championship, but give me Colombia for my first in my hashtag 5-pack of picks. Then, second pick is the Marlins versus the Reds on Wednesday night. I really think the Marlins can beat the Reds. They have one game less than the Reds in the win column, so give me the Marlins for my second pick. Then I have the Rangers at the A's. This situation where the Rangers are for real, the A's aren't for real. The A's are kind of trashy, so give me the Rangers as my third in my 5-pack of picks. Then I'll take the Phillies versus the Nationals. Give me the Phillies to beat the Nationals in Philadelphia for my 4th out of 5 hashtag 5-pack of picks. Then for my 5th and final pick, I'll take the Yankees. They're at the Red Sox, especially now that Tim Anderson will be suspended. Unless the White Sox come together and rally around Tim Anderson being suspended, which he got knocked out, and the audio is amazing. It sounds like the announcer is calling a boxing fight. He's like, down goes Anderson, after Jose Ramirez knocked him down yesterday, and both players got suspended for 6 games. So give me the Yankees versus at Chicago to beat the White Sox for my 5-pack of picks. So I have Colombian, the women's national team, winning their pick. Then I have the Marlins, the Rangers at the A's, the Rangers winning, the Phillies beating the Nationals, and the Yankees beating the White Sox for my hashtag 5-pack of picks. One more thing I really quick want to say. I just wanted to mention that this has been 2023, I think, has been the year, and I know everybody has seen it, where I think this, out of all years, more than any time, has been the year of F around and find out. And I just want to say that, nobody, no matter who you are, what race you are, is going to put up with being mistreated anymore. It's 2023. It's a F around and find out year. And so to the people in Montgomery, Alabama, you can't mistreat a security guard and try to fight a security guard and beat him up and not expect people to come after you. So you effed around and found out. So my message to the people is that be nice. And if you can't be nice, be kind. But if you can't be kind, above all, be respectful. Because, like I said, 2023, is the year to F around and find out. This has been the Leo Be the Lion Show, coming to you live from Respectable Street in beautiful West Palm Beach at subcultureradio.com. Every Monday, 6 to 7 live. I have my YouTube. I post my videos on YouTube as well after the fact. Check me out at Leo Be the Lion Show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch the videos. And if you have any comments, I do answer all my comments. Have a great day, everybody. Great week. Go Columbia. This is Leo Be the Lion signing off.